Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me again today for another chat. I want to start off with a question I've been getting about how many cases of COVID-19 have we had, or do we currently have? And the answer to that question is 3 total cases since this pandemic began back in early March. All have totally recovered. I want to thank you all for cooperating with the directives and precautions I've sent out. Again, we have tested approximately 27 people, of which only 3 were positive. 2 residents and 1 associate. All were isolated and all have recovered completely at this point. Please continue to be diligent in adhering to the precautions we have put in place. Those are to protect you and our associates as well. There was a new order issued yesterday, I believe, new order extending stay home, work safe order until May the 8th. Westminster will continue all precautions in place through this date, including no visitors unless end of life or resident wellness is affected, screenings for all who enter our buildings, restrictions on unnecessary services and activities, no group activities, no dining room service, no group transportation. Social distancing is to be maintained at all times, at least hourly sanitizing of all common spaces, self-reporting of symptoms and quarantine, reduced housekeeping services and localization of our housekeepers, additional standard added to the order for the stay home, work safe order is to wear face mask or other facial coverings when conducting essential work activities. So, if you leave your apartment, you need to have your mask on or some kind of facial covering, bandana or something like that. I'll talk to you in a minute about when we're distributing. We do need to reduce trips to only those that are absolutely necessary. I think most of you have already done that. I appreciate that very much. We also need to practice good hand hygiene, washing your hands and sanitizing your hands. Practice social distancing of at least 6 feet, and that's during all trips and walks through the common areas, everything. If you have a housekeeper in your apartment providing service, you need to stay away from that housekeeper and provide at least 6 feet, and ideally I would like you to wear your mask during that time as well. Question from a resident: what does the virus quarantine have to do with cutting the time of our housekeepers in our apartments? And why change housekeepers? Well, the answer to that is reducing the time of possible exposure as recommended in social distancing practices. So the CDC is recommending social distancing practices, yes, 6 feet between you and another person, but also limited contact, so 15-minute contact or less. And so that's helping our associates as well as you. We also want to allow for more frequent common space sanitizing, and we need our associates to help with that. We want to localize their efforts, their cleaning, to better contain the virus. If it was to break out, we would be able to sanitize a localized area. When people are spread out all over the building, going from floor to floor, it creates a lot more vulnerability and also a lot of inefficiency, and it's difficult to hold everybody accountable to a standard when you have everybody moving around. So we're localizing housekeeping services. I know that this has created an inconvenience, and I know that many of you have relationships with your housekeepers, but we really do have a fantastic housekeeping staff, and they all do a good job, and they'll continue to do so, but under those 15-minute restrictions. Again, I had another resident ask how many COVID cases have we had, and the answer is 3 total, and all have totally recovered. We don't have any current COVID-19 cases at this time. Had a question from a resident: can my family members visit me in the gazebo or courtyard if they maintain 6 feet social distancing and wear a mask? And the answer to that question is unfortunately no. We cannot allow this at this time. We are maintaining all of our current prevention measures and restrictions and are cooperating fully with the county stay home, work safe order, currently in place until May the 8th. So we need to suspend visitation until May the 8th. The only exceptions are end of life or resident service, resident well-being. When it's affected, we'll make exceptions, but for the majority, the answer is no. Again, just to reiterate, in the last stay home, work safe order, they issued further guidance telling folks that you have to wear a facial covering when you're doing any necessary activity. And that's anytime, so you're out of your apartment, you need to have a face covering, a face mask on. So we will stick to that. We're going to stick to that through at least May the 8th. If you do want to contact your family and you want to do more than the phone, and you don't have the capability to do like Zoom meeting or face chat, you can, if you let us know, we can check out a iPad for you to use for that purpose, and those are available. Just go to the reception desk or call the reception desk and let them know that you need it, and we'll make sure that we get one issued to you. We'll even help you learn to use it. We've already done that for several residents. So if you have a need at all, if you're missing a supply or you need some groceries of some sort, please reach out to the receptionist, give them a phone call, and we'll try to help you in obtaining those supplies and groceries. The little store is still open, has expanded hours, and we're doing a pretty good job of keeping it stocked. It's getting more and more difficult for us, but it's really rough out there in the grocery stores. There's a shortage of almost everything, but we're able to keep the little store supplied, and we're doing pretty well there. We will be issuing cloth masks to residents this Friday. That's this Friday. This mask will be washable and reusable. It's cloth. Many of them were made by our own residents. Some were made by volunteers and some we bought. Please hand wash these in between uses with soap and water and allow them to air dry completely before using them again. Ultimately, if you take care of them and you don't dry them in the dryer, you hand wash them and just let them allow to be hung up to dry, you should be able to reuse these indefinitely. If they become damaged or soiled or lost, please contact reception and we'll try to issue you another one. But please treat it as personal protective equipment and treat it like it's gold. There's not a lot of them to go around, and there's, as you've heard, there's a shortage worldwide of personal protective equipment. So please try to take care of it. If you have any questions, let us know. Just call the reception desk. We'll be happy to answer those. There'll be some instructions on how to handle those. That'll be coming out from Robin when we pass those out on Friday, and also how to wash them and to use them and take them off. Please follow the instructions that are provided. Most of our supplies continue to arrive as needed, and we're doing well with the current inventory of personal protective equipment. We have enough for several weeks. We are issuing masks to employees on Wednesdays, and then masks to residents on Friday. This cloth mask should be the last one that we have to issue for residents for at least the next several weeks, as we continue to obtain more personal protective equipment. We are having some challenges with raw food though. Raw food supplies coming in. We're getting a lot more substitutions being delivered, and this is causing some limitations to our typical menu as we go forward. We're doing our very best to continue the quality and the selections that you're used to having, but it's getting more and more difficult to get things, especially dairy products, yogurt especially, which you residents and I am very fond of yogurt, fruit yogurts especially, and you usually have those for breakfast. Those are getting more and more hard to come by, so we may have to have some more, I guess I should say less, choices on our menu as we try to get through this, unless something changes with regard to the supply. But for right now, just be understanding that we're doing the best we can under the circumstances. That's just one example. Also, I need to notify you of the pool shutdown. This is not being done for COVID virus. This is being done for maintenance purposes. The heat exchanger needs to be repaired, and without it, we cannot maintain the proper temperatures. It's a very cold pool today because the heat exchanger is broke. We're getting that replaced as soon as we can, but the pool will be shut down until further notice. We'll let you know when we have that back online. Also, white construction trailers were installed on the campus today. They're on the northwest side of the Windsor building. That was successfully done. Those are being installed in preparation for the early site work, which should begin any day. We've also started construction on the off-site parking lot at the state school. We will begin working on the marketing drive any moment. So any moment we'll be working on that, making those changes. We're also continuing to work on the driveway and parking areas surrounding the Preston building, including the visitor parking garage. This includes pavement repair, which was completed yesterday, and painting of all curbs, parking stops, repairs to parking stops, and all necessary striping and indicator signage on the pavement. Just be aware that that's going on over the next couple weeks, and that may change the traffic patterns and at times cause some congestion on the west side of the campus. So be aware, try to avoid that area if you possibly can. We're trying to do this work around the schedule for the delivery, so hopefully that won't be a conflict. Again, I want to thank everyone for your cooperation during this emergency. I know that the precautions and restrictions in place are difficult. A lot of us are getting cabin fever, and I understand. I do appreciate everybody cooperating. Our continued efforts and all of our continuing work together will sustain us through this emergency, and we will emerge even stronger than before. Thank you for making Westminster a great place to live and work, and we are extraordinary together. Thank you again. Bye.